Stop and learn. Stop and learn. Hey, stop.
Stop and learn about our God each day. And discover how to live your life the best way.
Tell me how.
Read the Bible, take time to pray. Listen to what God has to say as you stop and learn about our God each day.
G'day there. Arnie here again from Arnie's Shack. And this is Bible Buddies. Great to have you and your family back as we investigate and discover more about our amazing God and how much He loves us all. We are continuing to look at the Lord's Prayer, and this week's verse from Matthew 6:11, give us today the food we need. There is a wonderful story in the Bible about how God supplied someone's needs. It is found in 1 Kings 17, 7-16.
Israel was in the middle of a very severe drought. It had not rained for years. Because of this, crops had not grown, brooks and streams had dried up, people were starving. The brook where God's prophet Elijah had been living had dried up. So God told him to go to the village of Zarephath, where a widow would feed him. As Elijah arrived at the gates of the village, he saw a widow gathering sticks. Elijah asked the widow, "Would you please bring me a little cup of water?" As she went to get the water, he also called out to her, "Bring me a bite of bread too." The widow stopped. She turned back to Elijah with sadness in her eyes and said to him, "I don't have a single piece of bread in my house. All I have left is a handful of flour left in the jar and a little cooking oil in the bottom of the jug. I was just gathering a few sticks to cook this last meal, and then my son and I will die." Elijah replied, "Hey, don't worry. Go and do what you said you would do. But first of all, go and make me some bread. After that, use what's left to make a meal for yourself and your son. God has told me that the oil and flour in your containers will not run out until the rains come and the crops grow again." What would you do if you were the widow? Would you trust God and feed the prophet first? What if there was nothing left for you and your son to have a last meal? Would the jug of oil in the flour jar really still have something left after she had made bread for the prophet? Well, the widow trusted God. She made the bread for Elijah the prophet, and then just as God had promised, when she looked into the oil jug, there was still some oil there. When she looked into the flour jar, there was still enough for her to make bread for herself and her son. And while the drought lasted, there was always oil and flour for her to feed Elijah, herself, and her son.
I love that story. It is a wonderful example of God supplying just what was needed. God is faithful. God always keeps His word. You too can pray as it says in Matthew 6:11. Give us today the food we need. Anyway, our time is up for today. But I will look forward to catching up with all of you again next time on Bible Buddies. So take care, stay safe, and God bless.
Learn about our wonderful God each day.
Stop and learn. Hey, stop.